Overlord there. It's nice. So we're back to 3-3. All right, we're back to 3-2. So yeah, of course heals swing big. Heals swing big. Heals swing big. We heal as well. That's very good. Hey yo, how's it going everyone? Entropy here today with another video. Today we're gonna be doing another deck profile for this this month, for this set. And honestly, I totally forgot about this deck. You know, even though I did grind for the mate, and that is the Kagero support, the great Overlord deck. This deck is definitely very meta. It's definitely very competitive, but it is quite tricky. I've done deck profiles for a lot of different support in this set. You know, whether that's the Paladins or Link Joker or Brawlers even. But out of everything, I think this deck requires the most skill and the most patience, and I think it is quite tricky. But in the hands of a good player, I definitely think that it can perform quite well. And I hope to share some advice and explain my list and try to find a way to better our plays together. So without further ado, let's go into the deck and talk about the list. So honestly, I actually recorded this video. This is my second time recording this video, and there is a reason why. Because the first time I recorded it, I'm comfortable with it, but I'd say I thought there was room for improvement, and I continued playtesting it for like 2-3 more days, and this I'm definitely much more comfortable with, and I definitely it works a lot better for me than before. So let's talk about this list, and I'll talk about some other options you can give a try as well. So first of all, we're gonna play Conro. No reason not to play Conro or Boy. When wrote upon, move this to the rear circle, cost 1, retire this to add a grade 1 to your hand. You know, that's PG, it could be a PG, it could be a filter with Gojo, it could be a counter charger. There's a lot of options for Kagero, and there's no reason not to play Conro. It's just amazing, especially since there's no other selective drawing through the deck. So Conro is very, very nice. It's the consistency in an already consistent, well, decently consistent deck. We play 4 of the Perdition PG. Honestly, you don't need to play this one. You can play the Seal Dragon one as well. But I do prefer playing the one that lets you take damage. You know, the version 2 PGs that were introduced in Break Ride era. The reason being is because we do play the Break Rides. So I do want to take the damage and be able to proc the Break Ride. So that's that. You can consider playing one of the Vanguard Bari as well, simply because our Conro can pick and choose which one you want to go into. But I would play it at a 3-1 split. The one just in those niche matchups where you do want that early PG proc instead of being at 5. Definitely very helpful sometimes, but in general in this metagame, I just like to play 4 of the version I have right now. We play 4 Gojos, helps you filter, great first ride target, especially if you're going first. You do want to filter through quite a bit of cards. If you are going to the great first, you know, and you want a Legion as soon as possible, well, Kagero doesn't do too much superior calling, it doesn't do too much this or that. So to set up your drop zone for a Legion early, Gojo is your way to go. We play 4 of the Maliko. Helps you countercharge when a rearguard is retired in the same column. Your Vanguard is a Perdition, Soul Blast 1, countercharge 1. It's easy to set up. You know, there is that other countercharger, but it requires an empty column during your main phase, and that's kind of hard to proc, especially in this build right now. So I do think the Maliko is works better for me. You can plop it down earlier in the game, of course. In most matchups, maybe in this metagame like Kagero itself or Brawlers or Link Joker, it won't stick. But in some other matchups, it does stick, and you can use this for multiple turns, which is quite value. It's not like you get too much mileage out of that. The counter charge is nice, but you don't use that much soul anyway. So Maliko is a great way to actually make use of that, to make your resource use more efficient. And we do play 1 Eternal Bringer Griffin. Now I don't see lists playing this, but I do like it. The reason why I think most lists don't play it is because they play Dragonic Overlord at 4 as a heal trigger, and generally speaking, you don't want to be searching for your heal triggers. I play Dragonic Overlord at 1 as a draw trigger, as the 13th grade 3, What that means is I see it much less than if it's played at 4, and it does mean that, well, if I do want to see it, well, you know, Eternal Bringer Griffin is something that I can search with Conroe, and if I draw into it, then I can always use to replace a grade 3 for an Overlord, and that's nice, you know. Again, because I play Overlord at low quantities, playing this as a one-off just gives me a little bit more consistency than I do want, and is very helpful. We play 4 of the Dragonic Neo Flame. Very nice card, helps you remove back row units. Very solid. We play 4 Whirlwind Dragon, 12k, especially generally speaking, used for the Vortex Dragon Neo Persona Blast, but it's very nice to be able to hit numbers itself as well. We play 4 Strike-ins. You know this card, it gives your Vanguard plus 5k and a crit when you ride on top of it, but it does have restraint. And we play 1 Bolakosty to help you countercharge. We do play 4 Malaiko already, so you know, Bolakosty, it's great. You can play it at 2 maybe, but I do like striking at 4. You know, even just as a 10k rearguard, it's a nice number, especially when you are going to be able to more consistently retire back rows with less of a strangle on costs. For the main grade 3s, we play 4 Dragonic Overlord the Great. This is one of your 2 first ride targets. It's a really amazing card. When you are in Legion, at the end of the battle, this unit attack the rearguard. You can counterblast 1, discard 2 cards, and stand this and draw 2. In addition, when this hits, doesn't have to hit Vanguard, it hits, retire a rearguard with the same name as your Vanguard to retire 1 of your opponent's rearguards. So if you do have multiples of, you know, the Great, you can call this out in the front row or like the back row, and then your Vanguard hits and you can retire the copy. When you're in Legion state, you can also choose to retire the Dragonic Neo Flame. These kind of plays are particularly effective against matchups like Brawlers or Link Joker, where if it's Link Joker, they could lock you down and it didn't matter anyways, or if it's Brawlers, it's 1 additional unit they're going to hit anyways, it doesn't matter, and you're just giving them an extra 3k or 5k to scale up, so you might as well just retire it and try to impede your opponent's approach. So very good card. We play 4 Vortex Dragon as our heals. It's still really good. If you're in Legion, counterblast 2, discard a card with the same name as your Vanguard, retire 2 of your opponent's grade 2 or less rearguards, and if your opponent has 4 or less damage zone, deal 1 damage, and that damage check is nullified. When your opponent's rearguard is retired due to your card effect, this gets plus 3k until end of turn. So with the first skill retiring 2, you get plus 6, hitting 26k numbers, very nice numbers. Still a really great card, but of course without the Noble package, it's less consistent, drawing into the personas. And I do think that, you know, generally speaking, the Great is good enough to carry you through the game. Vortex is still nice, but it's more of like a final kind of last-ditch effort kind of play. Using it early isn't that great. Using it late is ideal, so it's fine. And we play 4 Dauntless Drive Dragons. Now this is a bit interesting. I don't think I see a lot of lists playing 4 Dauntlesses, but I do think that the Break Ride gives you that additional pressure to end off the games. And is a great ride target, your first ride target still. When rode upon your Vanguard, gets plus 10, and the following ability. Once per turn at the end of battle, this unit attacked, counterblast 1, discard 2 to stand, and draw 2 cards. And during your turn, if you have more rearguards than your opponent, this gets plus 3, so it's 14k beater. So this is kind of interesting, and I'll explain why. Well, even if you do Break Ride the Great onto Dauntless Drive, right? You can attack into rearguard, proc the Great, restand, and then your rearguard could attack rearguard, and then your Vanguard can still swing and still use the Dauntless Drive, so your Vanguard could still get 3 attacks in. I still think it's really, really good because, well, in this game you still have to generally attack into your rearguard opponent's rearguard intercepts in order to kind of push for game. So, you know, it doesn't not synergize in that sense. It doesn't look intuitive, but it's actually quite great. And the Vortex onto Dauntless is still really good. I know the last deck profile I did for Vortex didn't include this combo, but it is something noteworthy. When your opponent's at 4 and you can retire 2 of your opponent's front row intercepts and your Vanguard gets to restand, you are asking for 4 PGs or lethal, and that's really, really good pressure. And lastly, we play 1 Dragonic Overlord, as we mentioned before. As we mentioned, the Eternal Bringer Griffin. Overlord is solid. It plays around resist and all that. Counterblast 3 plus 5k and -2 drive, and the following ability, Vanguard Rearguard Circle. When it hits the rearguard, stand it, and you can just swing multiple times, 3 times by itself. Very, very good. 16k number with a booster, 23 hits basically numbers, and that's basically it. So yeah, I mean, the Strike-In, I think that's the last thing I really want to touch upon. The Strike-In is an interesting pick, and the reason why I didn't end up playing the Strike-In, I didn't actually test it a lot until the last few days, is because I thought that without the end, it's not as valuable. But actually, being able to damage deny and all that is more than enough reason to still play it. And it's still a really good card. You know, in this meta, against Narukami or Link Joker, specifically Narukami, I'd say that's the biggest meta contender everyone's hating on right now. Not being able to use that Sparking Dragoon on turn 2 because you didn't deal that 1 damage means that they can less consistently draw into Big Bang Knuckle Buster and less consistently use the skill in the first place, which is very valuable, right? Like the 1 less turn they get that, 1 more turn you get to make a move and actually play a fair game. So that's how I feel about it. The deck is quite technical. You need to understand when to damage deny with Strike In. You need to understand when to conserve your Counterblast. You need to understand when to just not commit onto the board and make use of your resources. Sometimes just kamikazing with the Neo Flame is value just because you want to avoid your opponent's plays. Sometimes you want to go all in and start pushing from turn 1. So with all that said and done, let's go into a few games, showcase this deck and the new skin, of course, from the new DICE event, and see how it goes. So, Overlord, it's never ending. Of course, we're not playing the end anymore, but I do think that the Great is a great addition, and that definitely brings a lot to the table, you know? Being able to be a bigger body by itself is very appealing, because the end, of course, at most by itself, it can be a 13k. Of course, if you break ride, you can be a bigger number, but generally speaking, you know, you either choose Legion or the break ride, or the end in these builds. And in this build, I chose the break ride. So let's go into the game and see. Oh, it should be a mirror match against DOC's Zay. Very nice, Kagero versus Kagero. I can't lose this way because it's a great showcase of the great build, nonetheless. So here we do have the break ride or the great. In this matchup, since we're going second, I am comfortable just going straight into the great. So I can just do this, and yeah, if we're going first, generally speaking, I do like the Dauntless, unless it's in some matchups, I guess, that I am just going to be more conservative. One unit that you can consider playing is, of course, the Maharaga. It's a 6 play, gets 5k for each retire through an effect. It's a good card. It's a good card, don't get me wrong. But I do value the consistency with Gojo. I do value the counter charge with Maliko, and you know, most of us play 2 or 3 of this, and I do find it a little bit clunky. I do see the value during the Vortex Dragon turn, but other than that, it's really rare that you can use this to hit multiple stages of 5k, and so I chose to drop it in the end. So they do end up, they do choose to play the Strike In. Of course, they did damage check the PG, which is music to my ears. They search for the Gojo to start filtering. Conro, you know, I know a lot of people just go straight for the PG, but in some matchups, you know, you'd rather just go to Gojo to start filtering, especially if you do have a Legion in your hand you want to go to and you don't have a way to set up your drop zone. Especially if you're going to the Great, since the Great does filter too. And another thing is, in some matchups where their opponent doesn't have retires, like for example Spikes, you know, there's no reason to have to use it as soon as possible. Maybe you want to make the best use of your counter charge, but sometimes it's best to wait and see. So here I'm just going to commit the grade 2 to hit 14. With 1 counterblast, it's not like Kagero can do much with 1 counterblast anyways. I guess they can use the Neo Flame, but that's okay, we do have 1 PG already. And making them spend their CB that early is, you know, it's fine to me. It's fine for me. They can always use the Great to self-retire and retire the Kondo anyways. Gojo discarding the Strike In, and Gojoing again, and Vanguard. One thing to kind of play Neo Flame is, of course, to put the Kondo behind the Vanguard, or any starter especially, in other clans' case, because, well, Neo Flame says if a rearguard in the same column is retired, then you can counterblast 1 to retire something else, right? So of course, if it's behind the Vanguard, you can't retire the Vanguard, and if you were retiring the back row anyways, then you wouldn't be proccing Neo Flame. So if you do want to save your precious starter, put it behind the Vanguard. In my case, I did value going for the numbers instead. So there's that, and of course, you know, this positioning is very good on our opponent's end because, you know, killing the grade 2 doesn't mean I can snipe out the Gojo because of the way they set it up. And it's good. I like it. We're going to ride into the great. Badass animation. Very nice. Alright, perfect. I am actually going to go into the Gojo. So Kagero retires itself, that's 3, and then the Gojo I can filter for 4. I want to discard the Great. Oh, gee, that's solid. Toss those back in. So yeah, that's pretty good. Heal, withdraw, Kagero, can search any grade 1 I want. And I will call out the Choke. There we go. The Swing Reguard, I get 4 drive checks this turn, which is great, especially since we are behind the damage. I am going to ditch the Bullicosity. Yeah, I think I can ditch the Bullicosity. I'd rather keep the Neo Flame. Very nice. And we can push to 4 this turn. One thing I don't like about going straight into the Great, and the reason why I did choose to try the Brick Card variant, is because if you keep spamming the Great, which if it's a Degrade focus build entirely, you might have to end up doing is I found myself decking out a lot. So being able to strike in, being able to Brick Ride means, you know, less drive checks too early, and it means I can still apply that pressure, steer them down with that Break Rides, like, do you want to hit me or not? And then when the time comes, I can still try to push for game, and there's many opportunities. So opponent does play the 4 Dragonic Overlord build, helping to filter them for the Legion. I think it's the right play because they are behind my 3 damage, which is quite substantial. So they're going to go for the Great. We do have the Dauntless, and anyways, like, even if you do draw into the Dauntless later into the game, you can always Gojo it away, or the Great, you know, makes use of it because you need to discard 2 to draw to restand. So, you know, it still makes sense to me. The opponent set copied our setup here with the 12k. It's the same thing. Nothing too noteworthy of. Of course, we sack better, so get good scrub. But in all seriousness, it is what it is. Starting grade 2 and grade 1. It's really roughly the same, except they don't play the Break Ride, they play the 4 Overlords instead. And Overlord there. It's nice, so we're back to 3 to 3. Alright, we're back to 3 to 2. So yeah, of course heals swing big. He'll swing big. He'll swing big. We heal as well. That's very good. And let's see what we can do. So there are 14 cards, we're at 19. Neo Flame still not doing that much work. Let me see what we can do. Do we Legion back? No, not really. Not really. We can just push. We can just push. We can just push. Yeah. I want to bait them to. I do want to bait them to use the grades, because then they'll deck out faster. Especially since they still do have a considerable amount of triggers in the deck. Let's use ours though. I'm gonna keep the grade here in our hand. We're low on resources, 11 can still hit Vanguard, and we can always retire it to use the skill anyway, so it's not that bad. And we're gonna try to push back to 5. Of course, the Vanguard, one of the negatives is that it doesn't get the +2 or the extra power that the other legions generally get. So, you know, even though it doesn't get a +2 on attack, it still gets a +3 per retire, which synergizes well with its skill. But all we need to do is just sack and case closed, right? Case closed. Draw trigger. So yeah, pushing, dealing damage, and sure they can heal, but they can't heal out of the deck out unless they keep legioning, I guess. Vortexing here on our opponent's end. Again, Vortex early is really awkward because, well, you're retiring your opponent's intercept, sure, but your opponent still gets that 5k on the defensive check, even though it's not a trigger check, and having to set up multiple columns to beat that is quite difficult, even with the 6k Maharaga. So yeah, opponent is a single-digit number of cards in deck, not rewriting. If they use the grade, they could be in a little bit of a tight situation. We do have 2 PGs already, so I do feel pretty comfortable in this matchup. Here they're setting the Whirlwind Dragon. That's the 3rd or the 4th one we've seen so far. The 4th one. So yeah, show 2 vortexes. I'm gonna use the Great. Gonna see more draw triggers. They still have you know, a couple more. how many more? 3 more, probably. So if they use it, they're down to 5 cards left in the deck, and they still have some draw triggers. Might be in their hand, but we'll see. We might not even need to deal 6 damage in this game. Could just be a deck out. So, Dauntless. No triggers. Alright, that's a PG. Vortex is spicy. Vortex is spicy. I can get rid of that intercept and a booster, and I can still ask for 3 PGs. It's quite nice. Of course, the Great rewriting it, it's pretty great too. But it's not like we can yeah, the Great does let me use the Whirlwind though. Let me think. What do we do here? Alright, I am just going to... I'm going to rewrite. And I'm going to... Gojo the Vortex. And then Legion this. Put those triggers back in the deck. Focus on the Legions. And that's game. The Great gives us 2 swings this turn. Rear guards give us 2 swings to the face. So that is that's 4 attacks, asking for 4 PGs. And I guess they didn't have them, nor any heals in the deck. So that's nice. Let's go into another game and see how it goes. A bit anticlimactic. I wish I had more content, but yeah, you know. So I mean, the deck is pretty good. Enough said. I hope I explained myself well enough. I definitely... Let's see what this matchup is. Angel Feather, and that's quite the niche matchup. Niche. Okay, there's a player called Niche. I don't know. But going second in this matchup, they can stall it out. Applying pressure with Dauntless could be good. What do we do? I'm gonna get rid of it. Again, going second, just going straight into Legion feels pretty good. If you're going first, though, I do like the Dauntless, but unfortunately, we're not really showcasing that. But one of the good things, I think, is even though Angel Feathers does get that 1 extra heal with the Sunny Smile Angel, Vortex nullifies it, so no worries on that. Of course, we're not playing the Novel package anymore, but it is still quite good. I am going to save the Gojo because we do want to Legion on our first turn. So being able to keep that in our pocket and start filtering is quite nice. I might even start filtering this turn. Is it worth it? I guess. Yeah, let's start filtering. Let's get rid of the strike in. Let's draw. Oh, the Great. That's fine. That's fine. We can always ditch it next turn, or we can always hold it to snipe out a back row or another rear guard opponent has. Seeing that defensive heal on the first damage is exactly what we're looking for. That's nice. Alright, goes into the Dragon Whale. This is the 12k beater, I believe. And it swings. Okay, perfect. Alright, we do have that 1 PG. I am considering searching with another one because Angels doesn't have, well, they don't have any rear retire though, so I can wait for later. I'm just going to use the Gojo first to ditch 1, draw 1. See what I draw into. Neo Flame. Yeah, I think I'm just going to hold here. Just going to wait out. I do have to say I don't have as much experience in the Angel Feather matchup. It is just super rare. Like, if you played Angel Feather in the last month, I really applaud you. But this is quite interesting. Ramiel, the break ride, it's quite rare. Generally, people go straight to the Legion, I believe. But again, I played this. I think this is the first Angel Feather I played this whole month. So bear with me. Zerakiel, getting those 20k numbers, beautiful on there. And nice. Already showed 2 heals. No defensive so far. Hopefully we'll see one here. Alright, draw trigger better than nothing. Let's stand and draw. Get that. The Great. Look at that great ride animation. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, and then I am going to... What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? This is awkward. They played it well, because they set up their column in the same column as the Gojo, so they're avoiding the Maliko and the Neo Flames, I guess. You know, well played on their end. I am going to, I guess, Gojo the Neo Flame away. Go on, up. I want to search PG. And let's Legion. So yeah, it's a bit awkward to use the Neo Flame here, so I guess I won't. I just swing Vanguard for the draws. And see, maybe, Nah, I can just do this. I can just do this. Swing this. We have like 4 heals in our deck. You know, I don't believe that if we draw check 4 times, the odds of seeing a trigger is that low. So we're gonna ditch this. I'm gonna ditch the Great. I think the Neo Flames are fine. We have the Counterblast for it. And if they give us the column on the right side here with Maliko, that could feel pretty good. Alright. Going to a Velocity, which would be nice. And we're gonna push 2-4. Draw trigger. Hopefully we see a heal here. No heal though. Alright, nice. No defensive. The Birdo, yeah, 6+2. Interesting. I guess they might want to proc that a grade 3 that can multi-attack. Is that it? They are at 4, which means it's break red numbers, but we do have the PGs to defend ourselves, and we are only at 3, so we can afford to take some damage and work our way up. Also, this is a nice skin. Approved. Alright, what else can they do? So they showed 3 heals. Ooh, this is the helm. Gives the crit. So no Legion in this deck, which is quite rare. But I mean, this deck's still nice, But unfortunately, a bit outdated, for sure. Let's see what they can do here. So next turn, are they gonna commit the number? I guess they don't need to. Oh, they are going to. All right, interesting. So that's gonna hit 22. Not sure if that's necessary, but okay. Angel's doing some angel stuff, getting power and stuff. Last one. Put a card from your deck into the damage zone and add a card from your damage zone. Put a card from your damage zone into your drop zone. So really, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do, really, but okay. So yeah, just gonna push, deal 2 damage this turn. Draw trigger. Still no heals. Where are my heals at? Where are my heals at? A heal here would be perfect. Drawing into it would be really solid too. Can we draw into it? Yeah, no good. Don't know if I want to Legion those back in. I really don't. I guess it's fine. 4 triggers, can't complain, right? All right, let's just do it. Let's just do it. At this point, it feels kind of like a win more situation, but it's fine. Neo Flame here. Let me just burn them down. Here helps us counter charge. Let's Legion. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, like, we're playing, I think they're playing pretty, I don't know, I'm not going to judge Angel for their play, because I'm not familiar with it, but we're just playing really solid. Heal, great. Power to Vanguard, because our Bellicossi wants to hit first, for the 5th damage, because we do want the counter charge. I am going to use the Neo Flame to retire the Maliko to counter charge, and I can, you know, retire the front row if I wanted to, but we didn't really set it up, the Neo Flame, properly, so I guess not. Restand, Neo Flame swings, Bellicossi swings to counter charge 1. I know we have 3 heals, but I just get to counter charge, really. It's no big deal at this point. And just push. Yeah. Alright, that's it. They do have 2 heals left though. So let's see. And no, SP no seal though. That's it. But yeah, that's basically it with the deck. It's really stable. It's against the meta threats that you need more finesse, I suppose. You know, and a mirror match especially. But in general, the deck is pretty straightforward. Just be wary of decking out. I know I didn't get a chance to showcase the Dauntless, but hopefully you can give it a try yourself and see if that little push can help you seal games before you end off the game. And it definitely is working well for me, so I hope it works well for you too. That's basically it for this video. Thank you so much for Mr. Nova Grappler here, or just Nova Grappler Kamui, for supporting the channel by being a member. Of course, if you like the video, help me out by liking it. Subscribe if you haven't already and want to see more. I know some people apparently aren't getting recommended my videos anymore. I'm so hurt by the YouTube algorithm. So if you do want to catch up, remember to keep up by subscribing and hitting the bell for notifications. And yeah, let me know how you find Kagero in this metagame. Of course, it is the ranked reward for the last season and this season. So if you haven't had a chance to pick up a playset yet, this is your best chance to do that. That grade is still played in some Blade Master builds in G, and Overlord the Cross as well. So definitely don't miss out if you want to play those archetypes in the G era, and definitely a great investment. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.